What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another money making guide. First thing that I want to get out of the way here is I have a slight lisp. I started a treatment for invisible aligners today, so if you hear me lisping throughout this video, that is why. But what we are going to get into today is going to be my top 5 favorite non-boss monsters to camp for money. Now, these are 5 different ones that can make you a decent amount of money pretty much no matter what level you are. If you can access these, you're going to get some pretty decent money. Now, the money per hour that you can make here is obviously going to be dependent on gear and levels. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to give a range of what you can make depending on levels and gear. I'm not going to name every bit of gear in every level that I'm listing off, but it's going to be a profit range that is accurate for the current time that this video is coming out. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Oh, and by the way, quick disclaimer, these are not in order of profit. These are actually in order of how I prefer them. So we're going to start at number 5, work to number 1, and obviously number 1 is going to be my most preferred non-boss monster to camp to make money. Coming into my number 5 spot is going to be the demonic gorillas. Now, some of you might say, wait, this is a boss monster. Well, kind of. It was like a quest, a demi-boss kind of thing, and there's a whole lot of them in the room down there that you can kill. You don't have to wait a long time for respawns, especially if you're there with only a couple other people. There's always one walking around, so this isn't really a boss or a demi-boss, in my opinion. So we're going to go number 5, demonic gorillas. Demonic gorillas I used to like a lot, and now I'm not so much liking them, but I will still go there if I'm looking to get some money. And the reason this is my number 5 is because they are really good money per hour. They're actually the most money per hour on this list, but they do take quite a bit of attention to kill. You have to switch your prayers, you have to move around, you have to switch your weapons. So if you're looking for something that is really good money, but not so much from the AFK aspect, this is actually a really good place to go. And if you are higher level and you haven't been into the PVM bossing scene yet, demonic gorillas can actually really help you get into that scene because you have to count their attacks, you have to switch to the appropriate prayers, you have to move around the area that they're in, and you have to switch weapons. So if you're not too good at bossing yet, this is actually a good place to come and learn so you can pick up some mechanics and adapt and use them in the future at other bosses like Chambers of Xeric or Theater of Blood. So how much money can you actually make here? Well, like I said earlier, it's actually going to depend on what kind of gear you're using and obviously your levels. Now, if you have the ability to kill demonic gorillas that you have completed the Monkey Madness 2 quest, there's a very, very good chance that your levels are decent and you'll have no problems killing these. Then it's just going to kind of depend on your gear. So for this one, you're actually going to be able to get between about 30 and 55 kills per hour. Obviously, it's going to depend on how good you are. When you're learning, you're not going to get that many kills per hour. You might not even get 30 because you're learning. But once you get to be decent, and then depending on the gear, you're going to see somewhere between 30 and 55 kills per hour. Now with 30 kills per hour, you can probably see somewhere around 1.3 million GP per hour. But then if we take it all the way up to 55 kills per hour, we're going to be looking at somewhere around 2.65 million per hour. Once again, this is also going to be depending on gear. Most of the time, you're obviously going to want to use an arc light here because it does do additional damage to demonic gorillas as they are considered a demon class monster. You will also want to use a toxic blowpipe if you have it. If you don't, then you might be an Iron Man and you can probably use a magic short bow here or a rune crossbow. And on the top end of the ranging spectrum, a twisted bow is going to be your best in slot ranging item. So once again, 30 to 55 kills per hour here. 1.3 all the way up to 2.65 million GP per hour. Next up is going to be my number 4, which is actually in the wilderness, and a lot of you that watch my streams and watch my videos know that I don't like spending a lot of time in the wilderness, but for this I do. My number 4 is going to be lava dragons. I like lava dragons because, well, let's face it, the wilderness, it's dying. PvP is dying in RuneScape. It is not as popular as it once was. I've been out there quite a bit and done lava dragons just when I get bored or I want to do something different to make a little bit of money, and I rarely ever see PKers at the lava dragons. Now, don't hold me to that because after this video, I bet you there's going to be a million people out there and you're all going to die very quickly. So maybe in a few months, come back to this video and remember what I said. Now with the lava dragons, the thing about them is they actually have a magic level of 1 and you are able to use a trident styled weapon on them. That is going to be your best in slot, or obviously a harmonized nightmare staff, but I don't know if I'd want to take one of those out into the wilderness, just because. Now, you can use a Trident of the Seas, Swamp, or a Sanguinesti staff, and they are all going to hit very well on the lava dragons. You can also safe spot the lava dragons, meaning you don't have to take any supplies out there except for your Trident and maybe a little bit of magic boosting gear with the looting bag, and you are set. So you can probably see, once again, depending on levels, on the lower end of the spectrum, if you're using a Trident of the Seas, you can probably see around 60 kills per hour, obviously if you are uninterrupted. If you go all the way up to the Sanguinesti staff, decide to take that out there, and you have near max stats or max stats, you're looking at somewhere around 100 kills per hour, which really is not that bad. But what are we talking about for profit wise? If you happen to be on the lower end of the spectrum at that 60 kill per hour mark at the lava dragons, you can expect somewhere around 880,000 GP per hour. But if you do have better gear and you do have higher stats, once you get up into the area of about 110 kills per hour, which is entirely possible, you can see just about 1.6 million GP per hour. So that is it's actually a really nice place to be, especially with the wilderness being pretty much dead right now. But remember what I said. So remember what I said about PKers, and they might be there after this video. So it is entirely up to you. Coming into my personal number 3 spot for non-boss monsters to camp is going to be Rune Dragons. Rune Dragons are a great moneymaker. Now their value has gone down in the past few months because more and more people are camping them, and they were botted pretty heavily, but they still can bring you in a lot of money. Now, in order to kill Rune Dragons, you will have to have Dragon Slayer 2 completed, and once again, if you have that quest done, you probably have the stats to slay some Rune Dragons. Now, these are actually great for alt accounts too. If you happen to have another account that might have maxed melee, well, you might consider turning it into a Rune Dragon alt. Now, as for kills per hour, it's entirely going to depend on what else gear. Your gear at lower tiers is probably going to bring you in about 30 kills per hour on the lowest end of this, but once you get into the higher tiered gear, like with a Dragon Hunter Lance and Justiciar armor, the Dragonfire Shield, all that good stuff, you could probably see somewhere around 55 kills per hour, which will vastly increase your profit. But what will that profit be? If you end up on the lower end of the spectrum with that 30 kill per hour mark, you were looking at somewhere around 850,000 GP profit per hour, which still isn't too bad. But if you do have the funds to rack up the nice gear with that Lance and Justiciar, boost yourself all the way up to 55 kills per hour, you can easily see about 1.75 million GP per hour at the Rune Dragons. They do drop those rune bars every single kill. So 55 rune bars in an hour, pretty decent chunk of change. Next up is going to be my number 2 spot, and we are into the 2 that I absolutely do not mind camping at all, no matter what I'm doing. If I want to make some money, these are probably both going to be my AFK choices because, well, I'm lazy. If you guys remember the Lazy Player's Guide, you know how lazy I am. So AFK is where it is at for me. So these are my top 2 non-boss monsters to camp for money. Number 2 is going to be the Skeletal Wyverns. Skeletal Wyverns do have a high defense and HP level, but god are they AFK. Even with the Dragon Hunter Lance, the crossbow, you can still spend quite a bit of time really not paying attention to the account that is killing them. And their respawn time is pretty quick, so by the time you pick up your loot, head back to your safe spot, you're ready to click and go AFK or do whatever else you're doing again. On the lower end of the spectrum here with a rune or dragon crossbow and rune bolts, you're probably going to be getting somewhere around 35 kills per hour, which will get you somewhere around 500,000 GP profit per hour. Now all the way on the other end of the spectrum with Elite Void, a Dragon Hunter crossbow, and maxed range, you can pull in 70 kills per hour here at the Skeletal Wyverns. Doesn't seem that AFK, but you'd really be surprised. If you get into a Netflix show, I promise you'll be on autopilot just killing wyverns and just raking in the cash. If you do get up to that 70 kill per hour mark, you're going to see a profit of around 1 million GP per hour. And once again, this is my number 2 because of how AFK it is. Alright, getting into my number 1, and I'm sure a lot of you that have been following my channel for a long time can probably guess this one, but my number 1 is going to be the Brutal Black Dragons. They are great money and they are able to be AFK'd very, very well. Now there's two choices you have here. You can use Eagle Eye and Rigor to get some faster kills and obviously more profit per hour, or you could just not use that and still make a great profit per hour, regardless of whether you're just using Protect from Magic or Protect from Magic and Rigor, using up those prayer points on a trip. On the lower end of the spectrum, and I'm not even going to mention the Rune crossbow other than just telling you I'm not going to mention it, you're going to want to use a dragon crossbow at the lowest end of the spectrum here because it's really not that expensive anymore. If you're going to camp Brutal Blacks, you want to have at least a dragon crossbow or a toxic blowpipe. Fun fact here, if you're using broad bolts with the dragon crossbow and adamant darts in the toxic blowpipe, you will still just profit right around the same amount per hour. So if you have either one of those, you are good to go to start this at the beginning. Now, you can use all the way up to a Twisted Bow, which is best in slot here at the Brutal Black Dragons, followed closely behind by the Dragon Hunter Crossbow. So, how many kills per hour can you expect? With your Dragon Crossbow, you're probably going to expect around 25 kills per hour at the Brutal Black Dragons, and that's even with decent gear. If you are using the Toxic Blowpipe with Adamant Darts, you're going to expect somewhere around 35 kills per hour, but regardless of which one of those you're using, you're still going to make just about the same amount of profit. So, all the way up towards the top end with the Twisted Bow, you're going to see somewhere around 75 kills per hour at the Brutal Black Dragons, assuming you are a decent banker and you're getting back quickly. With the Dragon Hunter Crossbow, you're going to see somewhere between 65 and 70 kills per hour. So what is our profit range like? At the bottom of our Brutal Black Dragon spectrum, we're going to have about 500,000 GP profit per hour, which really isn't that bad for just standing there and banking every now and then. If we go all the way up to the top with the Twisted Bow and that 75 kill per hour mark, we're going to see somewhere around 1.85 million GP profit, which has overtaken Rune Dragons in recent times. If you are using a Dragon Hunter Crossbow, obviously that profit is going to go down a little bit because it is not as good as the Twisted Bow, probably in the area of around 1.7 million GP per hour, which puts it just about right in line with Rune Dragons. But if you do have the Twisted Bow, you are going to make sure you are wanting to use that at the Brutal Black Dragons. So there you have it, everyone. My top 5 non-boss monsters in old school RuneScape to AFK for money. Number 5, Demonic Gorillas. Number 4, Lava Dragons. Number 3, Rune Dragons. Number 2, Skeletal Wyverns. And number 1, Brutal Black Dragons. I'm sure all of you out there can do this at some point. Consider this list when you are going out and you want to watch a movie, but you still want to make some gains on RuneScape on the side. So if you liked the video and if it helped you out, please leave a thumbs up down below. It'll help spread the video. It'll help the popularity. If you haven't done so yet, tap that subscribe button on your way out. All of the support, it really means a lot to me, guys. And if you want to support the channel a little bit more, you can become a channel member. You will get access to channel member only community posts and exclusive in-game events with me. Once again, guys, thank you for watching. I will see you on the next one. Take it easy, everybody.